Hello guys, I am Cybershoom reporting on gaming news, discussing topics, making reviews, and bringing you the missing content to your favorite game. After being struck with writer's block and giving up on multiple videos, I thought just to sit down and play some video games and get ideas for videos. And these jerks had to ruin that experience. Something I believe is that the mainstream gaming market does not really have bosses as difficult as the ones in the earlier days of gaming. Nowadays bosses usually have a lot of HP and have no real challenge. So I had the idea of taking the hardest boss battles from my childhood and making a video out of them. Now what qualifies as a hard boss battle? These guys in my opinion really do kick your ass. And anyhow, if there is someone that you felt like should be on the list, tell me in the comments below. I am Cybershoom with the top 5 hardest boss fights, and by the way, major spoiler warning if you have not played these games. These have involved modern and past titles, so you've been warned. Without any more distractions, on to the video. If you want to talk a good Zelda game, say no more than Breath of the Wild. The open world aspect is refreshing to say the least. Yeah, the story's about as in depth as Zelda 1 and 2 for the Famicom, but I would put in terms of Breath of the Wild as an experience. If you've got not a chance to play it, I highly recommend you pick it up for the Wii U or Nintendo Switch. Getting to the topic of boss battles, Breath of the Wild really has some easy fights. I say that the random encounters or mid-bosses are more challenging than the many forms of Ganon you'll encounter in the story. Now when I played Breath of the Wild when it first came out, I was not spoiled and I had no clue how to activate story missions. Only then and there I decided to go take on the final boss right away, cause that was one of the major taglines of Breath of the Wild. You could go face the final boss after completing the Great Plateau. The one downside is that I had to fight the remaining forms of Ganon that were supposed to be in the story missions. So on top of Calamity Ganon, there's Thunderblight Ganon, Windblight Ganon, Fireblight Ganon. They need to all be fought first in a row before I actually get to the final boss. So Calamity Ganon takes the form of a giant spider. Care to explain how he went from a pig, to a human, to a giant spider? I really want to know. This pig-human-spider hybrid is equipped to the teeth with axes, guardian cannons, and claws. I had a heck of a time fighting this guy. In fact, a long time ago, I uploaded the final boss when the game first came out to YouTube. It's unlisted now, but I kid you not, that timestamp does say 50 minutes. It was a long time, and if I died at any stage, I would have to go back and fight all the forms of Ganon again before rematching of Calamity Ganon. What made this boss fight hard for me was the feel of what to come. Avoiding his attacks with such a low health was already nerve-wracking, but I have not been spoiled up to that point, so I didn't know if there was another final form coming. Spoilers, there is. It was pretty easy though. This honestly was one of the few times I managed to have a certain fear when going up against a final boss. The final form after Calamity Ganon, honestly it was a complete joke, but it's still satisfying as an ending to the first open world Zelda game. With the power of the Switch, who's hoping more Zelda games will have bigger and better final bosses?
Good day, mates. Dingo Dial's the name, and Uka Uka and Cortex gave me orders to bring the crystals to them during the Ice Ages. Break out the butter. We're gonna make toast.
Alright, let's be real. Just like Calamity Ganon, what is Dingo Dial? He's like a pig, kangaroo, crocodile hybrid with an Australian accent. I personally find that very cool, but I never got to deal with people hating on Dingo Dial. It must be because he's the hardest Crash Bandicoot boss ever in the whole series. His fight is real simple. He shoots down fireballs in either direction. You gotta dodge them, and eventually he's gonna whip out his flamethrowers and blow out the crystals surrounding him, allowing you to get a chance to attack him. Simple, huh? Well, his shots are changing always, and possibly even random, and while they have a shadow on where they're gonna land, the AI gets cheeky and predicts where you're gonna go. I'm not kidding, I spent 15 tries trying to beat this dude, and I had no other problem with any other bosses and Crash Warped. When the crystals are down, you gotta plan out how you're gonna get near him, because he's gonna start taking aim in the areas you're gonna be running at, and after you hit him, you only got a few seconds to get out of there before an explosion happens. But believe me, it really does suck getting stuck in the crystals remaining. While being the hardest boss in Crash 3 Warp, he's also my favorite from the fight to the music, even his quotes about making toast. Shame that the remake kinda nerfed him and everything. He does not seem as challenging, he looks god ugly, and even the music cannot compare to the original. Hopefully if the Insane trilogy sells well, we see more Dingo Dow and newer Crash games. Pokemon, Pokemon, Pokemon. Oh how I love your simple RPGs. Sure, some entries in the main series are kinda weak compared to others, but one thing I love about you are your tough battles, and I had a real tough time deciding who to represent as the hardest Pokemon battle. Sure, there's Red with his level 88 Pikachu, Lance with his 3 underlevel Dragonites. I could've picked Price from Pokemon Stadium 2, cause fuck Price from Pokemon Stadium 2, but no, I had to go with the champion of Sinnoh, so here's Cynthia from Pokemon Black and White. Yeah, you didn't see that coming, did ya? I can bet that most of you honestly forgot you could battle Cynthia in Black and White. No, not Black and White 2, where she appears a part of PWT, but the original Black and White. Now you can find a post-game in Delta Town where she'll talk about Sinnoh, and then ask the battle. Her Pokemon in short terms are steroid versions of her Platinum team. Her Spiritomb, which in Gen 5 had no weaknesses, is supporting Sucker Punch, Shadow Ball, Will-O-Wisp, and Double Team. Her Myotic, who could tank stuff easily, and hit back with Hydro Pump, Blizzard, Bulldoze, Dragon Tail. And do I really need to talk about her Lucario and Garchomp? She's also supporting 2 Unova Pokemon, that being Electros and Braviary, one of the 2 sporting Retaliate, so when you actually manage to take out Mon, this thing's gonna come out and one-shot you. She's still rocking the champion position by having full restores, cause in the mighty words of Matty B, you can't be a champion without spamming full restores. People are going to be ranting for the next few years about there being no Generation 4 remake, but what they need to understand is that if there were remakes of Diamond and Pearl, they simply won't be as challenging as the originals. Cynthia is going to be a complete joke. I mean, just look at Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire. I remember only losing a total of 7 times my entire playthrough, and once was it to Steven. Tell me how I'm going to be wrong in the comments. Pokemon games have been easier after Generation 5. Until those remakes happen, it's best to remember Cynthia as the hardest Pokemon champion of all of the game. You guys know him as the Giant Talking Egg, however nobody can deny that Dr. Eggman knows how to get his goals done. Sure, most of the time they backfire on him. Sure, allowing the God of Destruction running around in the wild is not the best idea, and he's created some dumb machines. I mean, a mech that gets damaged by rocks while he drives in an area of rocks? Are you kidding me? Some of his invention highlights, however, are Hyper Metal Sonic, who is able to reach up to speeds and surpass Sonic in seconds. But that's really all he has going for him. He has a few lasers he can shoot, but other than that, he's really fragile and can break easily. So if speed's not going to be good enough, time to resort to a giant mech. The Death Egg Robot has to be the greatest mech Eggman has ever built. Other than being as tall as a building, the Death Egg Robot has the power of flight, it can move faster with its jets, it has big meaty claws, and in Sonic 2's Death Egg Zone, it features not 1 but 2 boss fights. After defeating Silver Sonic, a more slower, offensive Metal Sonic, you then gotta fight the Death Egg Robot in a 1v1, and it takes 16 hits with no rings. This is right, it's basically a one-shotting boss. Die and you gotta fight Silver Sonic again. It's a foolproof plan really with no rings. Facing a game over will send you all the way back to the title screen unless you don't have continues. However, you cannot give up, this is the final boss of the game, you managed to get this far, and after defeating it, seeing all the explosions, you jump out of the Death Egg button pops up on there, only to find out you didn't grab all the Chaos Emeralds, and that fat man is sitting there and chugging those magic rocks. Really surprising, Eggman has never tried this again. Sure, the Death Egg Robot has made cameos, and has been featured as a boss in modern Sonic games like Generations and Sonic 4, but they have been certainly easier than the Sonic 2 version. Sonic Forces does feature what looks like to be Titan-sized Death Egg robots, so maybe they'll be featured as a boss or just a quick time event, who knows. But one thing's for certain, do not doubt this feel-for dictator.
Sonic fell for it. Tails is ours. I'll have to give myself a promotion.
In the words of censored gaming.
Disney meets Final Fantasy. A little like mixing water and oil, no?
Let's cut the crap. Kingdom Hearts 2 is an amazing game, one of my top 10 games of all time, and it features one of the best designed bosses in gaming history. The Lingering Will is the mind of the Keyblade wielder Terra, who after succumbing to the darkness, lost his body and heart, and now resides in a suit of armor. Confused? Well, it's Kingdom Hearts after all. But this really is the hardest boss I've ever fought. Let me break it down for you. I have beaten the Lingering Will once. Let that sink in on how hard this boss is. I made my duty when Kingdom Hearts 2.5 came out to complete it on critical mode, and that made it really a pain when it came to the Lingering Will. When people say Sephiroth from Final Fantasy VII is the hardest boss in the series, they obviously did not play Final Mix. Sephiroth is what 10-year-old me struggled with. Now 16, I struggle with the Lingering Will. His attacks are so diverse and random, you really gotta plan ahead what to do. Right when the fight starts, I recommend getting the hell out of there because he's coming for that booty. He'll either block your magic, resorting you to only using attacks, or the vice versa could happen. Now I've seen people manage to beat the Lingering Will with no damage, the weakest Keyblade in the game, all Val level 1. That to me is a life goal I would never reach. Kingdom Hearts as a series has had some amazing boss fights. I'm hoping that Kingdom Hearts 3 will be able to top this. Maybe a difficult boss fight against somebody like Darth Vader as a secret boss leading into the events after Kingdom Hearts 3. I certainly don't want any Star Wars related worlds in Kingdom Hearts 3 as I believe it could be saved till after the Xehanort saga has concluded, but something of that caliber would be greatly wanted. However, it would be hard to top the Lingering Will as the hardest boss fight I have ever played. And that was my top 5 hardest boss fights. What do you guys think of it? Tell me in the comments below. Sorry I've been so on and off about making videos in the summer. I've been having a tough time coming up with ideas to make. If you guys want to keep up with me and get updates on videos I might make in the future, follow me on Twitter. If you're new, why not subscribe? I want to quickly give a shout out to my new buddy Gregor the Game. Do you enjoy unboxings of gaming merchandise, live streams of Sonic the Hedgehog or Mega Man? Check him in the comments in the description below or comments, and he'll pop up also in the end cards. Without all of the way, I am Cybershroom and I hope you have a good one.